Today is January 21st, 2017, and this morning I'd like to look at one of my favorite Jataka tales and also explore it in relation to our current situation. Yesterday was the inauguration of a new president. It was not a happy event. The only happiness in it was that it allowed for, still, despite so many problematic things, peaceful transference of power. Today is the Women's March on Washington, and in part in honor of that, I'd like to present this little teisho. We'll look at the Jataka of the brave parrot. It goes like this. Long ago, the Buddha was a little gray parrot. One day, clouds gathered over her forest home. Lightning flashed, thunder crashed, and a dead tree, struck by lightning, burst into flames. The wind began to blow, and sparks left from tree to tree. The forest began to burn. "Fire!" called the little parrot, smelling the smoke. "Fire! Run to the river." Flapping her wings, she flew toward the safety of the river's other shore. She was a bird and could fly away. But as she flew, she saw below her many of the forest trees wreathed in flames. She saw animals trapped by fire with no way to escape. Suddenly, a desperate idea, a way to save them, came to her. Darting to the river, she called to the animals already gathered there. "Elephants, fill your trunks with water to spray on the flames. The rest of us can carry water in cupped leaves. Working together, there's a chance we can save our forest home and our friends." But the animals huddled on the shore moaned, "It's too late. There's nothing anyone can do, little parrot." "It's true," coughed the cheetah. "Fast as I am, flames are faster. And powerful as we are," trumpeted the elephants, "we can't charge through fire." "It's hopeless," the animals agreed. But the little parrot saw a way. Soaking her feathers in the river and filling a cupped leaf with water, she flew back over the burning forest. Flames leapt at her. Fierce heat struck. Thick smoke coiled. Walls of fire shot up, now on one side, now on the other. Twisting and turning through a mad maze of fire, the little parrot flew on. At last, over the heart of the burning forest, she shook her wings. The few drops of water that still clung to her feathers tumbled, glittering like jewels, into the flames. She poured the water from her leaf cup. The water vanished with a hiss. Then the little parrot flew back over the river, dipped her body and wings in the water, and filled another leaf cup. "Stay with us, little parrot," pleaded the gentle deer. "Don't go back over that fire." "Yes, stay," roared the mighty tiger. "A few drops of water can't save a burning forest." "It's too late," cried all the animals. "Stay and be safe with us here on the river's other shore." "But it might still be possible," panted the little parrot. "So I'll try." And once again she flew back over the burning forest, shook her wings, poured the water from her cup, and let the few glittering drops fall. Hiss! Back and forth the little parrot flew, from the river to the forest, from the forest to the river. Her eyes grew red as coals. Her feathers became charred. Her claws cracked from the heat. She coughed and choked, but still the little parrot flew bravely on. At this time, some of the carefree goddesses and gods happened to be drifting by high overhead, laughing and talking in their palace of sunlit clouds. They were eating honeyed foods and sipping sweet wines. One of them, looking down, saw the little parrot flying over the burning forest far below. "Look at that foolish bird," he exclaimed, "trying to put out a raging forest fire with a few sprinkles of water." "Ridiculous," snorted another god. "Impossible," laughed a goddess. "Can't she see it won't work?" exclaimed the first god. Putting down his golden bowl and silver cup, he transformed himself into a golden eagle. Flapping his broad wings once, twice, 3 times, he leapt from the cloud palace down towards the little parrot. As the little parrot flew towards the center of the forest's fiery heart, the eagle appeared at her side. "Turn back, little bird," said the eagle in a commanding voice. "A few drops of water can't save a forest. Turn back now and save yourself before it's too late." Great Eagle, coughed the little parrot. "Why give such pointless advice? Everybody already knows about saving themselves. If you really want to be of use, find a way to help." And on she flew. The great eagle was stunned. The heat was fierce. He flapped his great wings and rose up to the cooler air, high above. Far below him now, he saw the little parrot, still flying bravely on. High above him, he saw his fellow gods and goddesses laughing and talking, eating and drinking as the forest burned. Many animals cried out in pain and fear below. And for the first time in his nearly endless life, that god felt ashamed. "We are gods after all," he exclaimed. "We should do something." Overcome by new emotions, the eagle began to weep. Tears fell from his eyes in torrents, sheet upon sheet, like cooling rain upon the fire, upon the forest, upon the animals, and upon the brave little parrot. Because those were the tears of a god. Wherever those tears fell, the flames went out. Tears dripped from burnt branches and soaked into scorched earth. Wherever they touched, life burst forth. Green grass pushed up from among still glowing cinders. Blossoms opened, leaves unfurled. New feathers grew on the little parrot too. Feathers red as flame, green as leaves, yellow as sunlight, and blue as a river. Such perfect colors. Such a pretty bird. "The fire is out," called the little parrot in her joy. "Look, our danger is past." The animals looked at one another in amazement. Washed by the tears, they were whole and well. Not one was harmed. "Hooray!" called the animals. Hooray for the brave little parrot and for this sudden miraculous rain. Overhead, in a clear blue sky, they saw their friend, the little parrot, looping and soaring in delight. She had done all she could, and somehow it had saved them. That's The Brave Little Parrot, and this was adapted by myself from my own book, The Brave Little Parrot, which was originally published by Putnam and Sons in 1998, currently out of print. So, to begin, please take a comfortable posture. Remember that teisho is a form of zazen. It's not sitting and listening to a lecture. There is no other person hearing this talk, no other person in the room. It is your ears only making this talk live. Don't get distracted. Pay attention to your practice and let the teisho in. Don't sit there and listen as if it's a break from your practice. Be careful. Now a quote from James Joyce, Finnegan's Wake. "Lead kindly, fowl, they always did. Ask the ages. What bird has done yesterday, man may do next year, be it fly, be it molt, be it hatch, be it agreement in the nest." It's from Finnegan's Wake. The brave Parrot Jataka embodies the central vow of Zen Buddhism to free all living beings from suffering. To do this, we don't sit back and think about it. We work on ourselves. We're not here to simply spread good news, but to do the actual work of freeing ourselves and others from selfishness and ignorance and their consequences. Our vow then includes liberating rivers, mountains, forests, oceans, animals, not just humans, from exploitive social, economic, and political systems, all of which express our egotism. This vow is the first of our 4 great vows for all. The 3 remaining vows show us how to make this first vow real. With the second vow, we commit to letting go of habitual attachment to the self-centered greed, anger, and ignorance arising in our own minds. Third is our vow to truly realize that everything we encounter is potentially a Dharma gate. A monk once asked an ancient Zen master, "How can I enter Zen?" The teacher replied, "Do you hear the stream flowing nearby?" "Yes," said the monk. "Enter there," said the teacher. Our 4th vow is to undertake the impossible task of fully embodying the ungraspable, selfless way of the Buddha. To fulfill these great vows, great because they are selfless and so beyond narrowness, we attend to this count, this breath, this koan, this question, this actual life situation, this precept, this error. As Wu Men says in The Gateless Barrier, if you want to know true gold, it can only be known in the midst of fire. The little parrot finds herself at a crossroads. She can save herself, but is that enough? At the beginning of the story, she is happy to have the gift of flight. She's even happier at the end, having used her gift to help others. She loops and soars because her great vow has become that much more real. Much of the time, we may hold our own vow at arm's length, thinking, one day I'll understand that, or when I'm enlightened, I'll do that. But the second of our great vows tells us how to accomplish the first right now. Greed, hatred, and ignorance arise endlessly. I vow to abandon them all. Or, another version goes, endless blind passions I vow to uproot. To free others, we must free ourselves now. As thoughts arise and things happen, it is not a distant ideal. If we are trapped in a well, we can't help anyone else until we get out. We have to do the work to make our aspiration real. Greed, hatred, and ignorance arise in our minds. If we build a self with them, on them we're trapped. If we don't attach to them, don't make our nest there, then our old, self-centered, habitual thoughts can come and go like a wind that rattles the branches and is gone. But how do we not attach to them? Well, we don't fight them. That might only reify them. We don't self-consciously try to stop them. Instead, we attend to this count, this breath in the midst of them. We question our koan even as thoughts arise and fade. We accept our actual impermanence nakedly, directly, freely, and in so doing, we gradually free others as well from what we no longer project onto them. To be free of ourselves is to free others from ourselves, from the burden of having to bear and bear with our own self-centered needs, desires, and expectations. To free others is to diminish our own fascination with the experience of isolated egotism. The two go hand in hand. Our work, the work of practice realization, is not distant, but intimate. It is not just about reciting 4 great vows for all. Each day, we must do our best to live those words. Each day, we must dip in the river and fly back with a few drops of water for our burning world and deliver them. No easy task. Each day, we practice the realization of this moment and do our best to realize this never to be repeated moment of practice. The parrot story does not appear in either the Pali Jataka or the Sanskrit Jataka Mala, though Jataka number 35 in the Pali collection of 547 about a quail who stops a forest fire with an act of truth is seen as a variant. An original may exist as a carving at the Buddhist monument of Borobudur as well as a painting at the Ajanta caves. Whether as text or visual art, the original ending is different. In the original, whose source I can no longer locate, the god, instead of bursting into tears, squeezes a cloud to make healing rain fall. I created the God's Tears version more than 40 years ago when I first began telling the tale. The color of the parrot's feathers isn't mentioned in the original either. Are they gray, multicolored? Never mind. Deeds make us who we are. Selfless deeds make us beautiful. There is truth greater than fact. Myth reveals what never was but always is. Fact recounts what happens in one time and place. Myth reveals the archetype, what happens in all times, all places. So literalists sticking to facts can still create a false story. It was my decision to make the parrot female. Is she in the original? No, he is not. Does that make this version untrue? Stories must speak to every generation or they fade. The feminine is reawakening. The Jatakas are often, though not exclusively, patriarchal. There are wise women, enlightened nuns, and true queens, but rarely, if ever, does the Buddha appear as female. Maybe this is how karma works. A man is a man is a man. Or maybe Buddhist monasticism suppressed a greater truth. In the Jatakas, the Buddha could be a crow, a dog, a monkey, but never a woman. Really? I felt it was time to give our grand old tradition a nudge. Hence the emergence, peck, 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 from its overly literal shell of the brave lady parrot. Dogen writes in Receiving the Marrow by Bowing, section 9 of Shobogenzo, the eye of the treasury of the true Dharma, why are men special? Emptiness is emptiness. 4 great elements are 4 great elements. 5 skandhas are 5 skandhas. Women are just like that. Both men and women attain the way. You should honor attainment of the way. Do not discriminate between men and women. This is the most wondrous principle of the Buddha way. Finally, there are no cheetahs, elephants, or tigers. I created them for a picture book version of the tale. But I like them, and they liked the story, so they stayed. The cheetah's gift is speed, the elephant's strength, the deer's gentleness, the tiger's power. The point is that the parrot is not the swiftest, fastest, strongest, gentlest, or mightiest. The race, as they say, is not always to the swiftest. The parrot's gift is to fly. From above, she gains an encompassing view. Looking down, she sees clearly how bad things are. Expanded vision, not just rapid travel, may be the real gift of flight. The parrot sees the big picture. With that first iconic photo of the Earth seen from space, we all became little parrots. let's not underestimate the gift. We also have an original gift. Buddhist teaching says that just as we are each, even a dog, Buddha. We will not gain it, become more it, or lose it. But what is it? And why don't we know it? We may know shame, guilt, fear, inadequacy. We may get caught by an overly confident ego or by an overly self-critical and defensive one. They are a pair, yet either can become the irritating grit under the hard shell of our ego oyster that may in time produce a pearl. Why? Don't we know who or what we are? How are we? Just as we are, stuck and limited as we are, Buddhas. This irritation works on us without cease. If we accept the practice it demands, it too can be a gift. The little parrot is a happy bird. How can we be happy birds? Should we ignore difficulties? Shut our eyes and ears to life's sorrows, conflicts, issues? Should we wear rose-colored glasses? Should we just accept whatever happens? The little parrot doesn't think so. She smells smoke and responds, crying, "Fire! Fire! Run to the river!" And flapping her wings, she flies away. Right, as the old teachers say. If you can be free of danger, do it. Get free! Don't sit there moaning over your sad state, rehearsing what-ifs. And let's accept, too, that being present in some situations is going to mean get out of there. The Buddha does that in the wise quail Jataka, when quarreling puts the flock at risk. Being awake in our lives and in our practice means respond. In case number 14, Hekiganroku, or Blue Cliff Record, a monk asks Yun Men, what is the teaching Shakyamuni preached throughout his life? Yun Men answers, one preaching in response. That's it. But there are many ways to respond. The key lies in where it comes from. It is said in a sutra, virtuous deeds are virtuous because they are not mine. Virtuous deeds are virtuous because they are not mine. That's from transmission number 24, Denko-roku, Transmission of the Light, a koan, Soto koan collection we work on towards the end of our training. Capital Roshi used to say that being a Buddhist doesn't mean acting like a Buddha, imitating the guy on the altar with a half smile on his face. If you're at a party, sitting with legs folded in lotus posture, looking wise and kind, Roshi would say, get up and dance. Try the hors d'oeuvres, talk to people. In short, respond to time, place, and circumstance. When sad things happen, we're going to cry. When joyous things happen, we'll laugh. When infuriating things happen, we might even get angry, which seems to be a New Age Buddhist no-no. We're human beings, not zombies. We get hungry and eat and taste. We get tired and gratefully lie down to sleep. The day's work done. But even dancing at a party can become rote and zen-y, no longer authentic, knowing there is always more on the Dharma path, that wherever we are is both it and simultaneously not yet enough, allows for continuous practice, what Zen Master Dogen called sustained exertion, the exertion that the Buddha-to-be embodies in the Jatakas. It is the practice of this count, this breath, this koan, shifting our attention from the habitual, self-centered self and its desires and compulsive narrative, and allowing or suffering, as is in Jesus' suffer the little children to come unto me, the 10,000 things to step in and claim us. And in this, simultaneously responding to the flames of our world. Zen Master Dogen says that getting out of the way and letting the 10,000 things be us, enter us, confirm us, wipe us away, and take their rightful place as us enlightens us, allowing us to be intimate. We no longer live dualistically with me in here and everything and everyone else out there. Master Dogen adds, when we push forward with the self to become one with the 10,000 things, it is called delusion. When the 10,000 things step in and illumine us, it is called intimacy or enlightenment. We don't get something called enlightenment. Rather, we momentarily release our habitual self-centeredness and re-find our original intimacy with bugs, clouds, people, cars, trash, crows. We are not separate and alone, and never have been. Yet because we so often feel that we are, not only do we not respond to our own real needs, we fail to respond to our burning forest. And see, indeed, sometimes we even light new fires ourselves. The compassion that arises from experiencing intimacy isn't sentiment, it's action. Samantabhadra, Bodhisattva of selfless activity, rides an elephant. Nothing can stop him or her on this determined, steady mount. Today, hundreds of thousands of people will arrive in Washington, D.C. to march for inclusion, equality, and compassion. Our daughter and some of her fierce women artist friends drove 16 hours from New Orleans to get there and will then drive 16 hours back. It is our nature to be brave parrots. It is our nature to see possibilities and act on them. It is not the things we try and fail at that later on return to torment us, but the things we might have done that we didn't. Loving words unsaid, journeys not taken, zazen put off, kind or brave deeds not done are what disturb our sleep. Dogen adds that to study the self is to forget the self. This path is not one of gaining new Buddhist beliefs, but of going deeper into the nature of what we already are. We are not saved by gaining a better, more Buddhist self. Nor do we get rid of ourselves, but losing compulsive involvement with ourselves, we find ourselves, or our self. This count, this koan, this breath, this round of zazen is our entrance into the ancient way. It is not the end of the journey or the activity, but it is where we can truly begin. The little parrot can fly over the river. Fire can't cross water. She is going to be safe. She knows it. We know it. But what of others? What of trees and animals surrounded by flames? When the Bodhisattva was a banyan deer, that thought, what of others, kept him from claiming personal freedom. He was tested again and again. Leave? No, I can't. Not until the other herd is free. Leave? No, I can't. Not until all animals are free. Leave? No, not till birds and fish too are safe. Only then can I be free. In the hungry tigress, the Bodhisattva might have walked past the starving tigress and her cubs, only he couldn't. As a hare, the Bodhisattva saw a beggar, and in response to his plea for food, leapt into the flames to become that food he couldn't walk by. Neither can the Bodhisattva, as a little parrot, fly to a place of personal safety. Though she's just a bird, she sees a way to help. Seng Tsan, in Verses on the Faith Mind, says, when picking and choosing are cast aside, the way stands clear and undisguised. There is no ground left for the little parrot to pick and choose. Everything has been taken. All is smoke and fire. And then she sees. What does the parrot see that makes the great way clear and undisguised? From up high, she sees how everything, trees, rivers, mountains, the great earth, are connected. She sees intimately, sees the forest as herself. This no-seeing is transformative. When the mind of the Bodhisattva is awakened, seeing is doing. The ancient grit of me and my, that stands like a veil between our seeing and doing, is gone. Gone, entirely gone, is the heart of perfect wisdom. Prajna Paramita Hridaya says, where is the other shore? How far did we think we'd have to go to get there? Where did we think we'd have to go? Where we are is where we practice. Where we are is where we attend to this breath, this koan point, this difficulty. Crossing the stream comes down to our work right now. Bodhisattvas don't make escaping the point of their practice. They live in the middle of the stream, flying daily over the burning forest, dipping every day into cool waters of emptiness. They don't give up, and they don't settle down saying, oh, well, that's enough. I'll build my comfy nest here. They keep bringing what they can, a little talent, a little insight, a little water. As few and as tiny as those drops are, how each sparkles, how cool and refreshing, and then it too is gone. Yet, says this old story, if we keep going, keep flying, keep practicing, things that logic could never predict can happen. Who is the Bodhisattva? Is this just another story of Shakyamuni's personal route to Buddhahood? Look again. The beauty of Zen lies in this question. Who? Who is hearing right now? Who is practicing right now? Our world is burning. It's not a story. Trees, animals, ecosystems, social safety nets are being engulfed. It's not an old tale. We're not inspecting our navels, just trying to calm our own considerable distress. Our world is on fire. And the causes are exactly as the Buddha himself said 2,500 years ago, greed, anger, and ignorance of our own nature. Brave parrots, if you love your forest, flap your wings and find a way to the river, and do not give up. When the chips are down and the last hand has been played, sometimes the inexplicable happens. A light never seen on land or sea shines. A god descends, clouds burst, tears fall, and suddenly, for a moment, everything is whole and well. For a moment, we become what we have always been. And then we can really get to work. In the real world, not the world of story, it's not so simple. In stories, archetypes are clear. Hard work and persistence pay off. In the literal world, the fires get relit each day, and the effort to put them out must be renewed daily. The story is a pointer to daily practice, daily effort, daily success, daily surprise, daily healing, daily failure, daily fire. We keep at it. At work, at play, Stay with your practice, right in the midst of the flames. The only way to know true gold is in the midst of fire. The river is never far off, but neither is the burning forest. Time waits for no one. Fly on, brave parrots. Fly on.